And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I got my eyes closed. Okay, I do, because right now we are manifesting the Lil Shadama's hours. Okay, and we are live on this show, well, pre-recorded show that's going to air on the Can You Dig Sports Radio Network. And man, when I tell you we got a lot going on in the world, I'll be lying if I said we didn't, but we do. And that's why we're here. We're going to talk about it. Okay. It's going down today on this show. So make sure you support new media. Make sure you support the podcast, The Real Lil Show. Make sure you support the Can You Dig Sports Radio Network. Make sure you support the MyTuna radio app. And make sure you support your neighbors. Love thy neighbor. Okay. Because you might need your neighbors when you see it's I Am Legend out there. Okay. Because it's going down. I got a guest on this show per usual. You know, anytime there's something going on, something massive, I always love having her on because I love her mind. I love the fact that she speaks her mind all the time. And that's what I like. You know, like Bruno Mars, that's what I like. That's what I like. Okay, I like when people talk their mind because guess what? We need people like that. We might be in the last days of free speech, so we might as well take advantage. I got Sean Michelle in the building. Sean, how you feeling?
Well, Lil, you may be manifesting the Lil Stradamus hours, which I'm definitely here for, but I am manifesting the return of Jesus Christ. I just want to do what I got to do on this earth to just hasten his coming because it is getting crazy out here. And as always, when it does get crazy, I love it. You give me a call, love it. You think of me because my brain likes this kind of nonsensical chaos, but because I'm faithful and hopeful, so this is fun for me, and I'm excited to be here on your show, Lil.
Definitely, I'm happy to have you on, and we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. You know, the U.S. just pulled one of the gangster moves of all time. Okay, we're going to talk about that with the capturing of Maduro, Nicolas Maduro. We also going to talk about the fatal car crash. Well, for Anthony Joshua's case, it wasn't fatal for him, but to his friends, and talk about a broader conversation that I would like to talk about. In regards to that and around that, and the ramifications and the aftermath, and where we are right now in society, as we always do. And before we get there, Shaw, I'm gonna play a clip right off the bat because this was a warning that President Trump gave a while back, a couple months ago, might have been. And we're going to hear from President Trump right now, and then we're going to take it from there.
Seriously, and
he can do whatever he wants.
What's your end
Maduro?
game? What's your end game?
There's no answer. He can do whatever he wants. I mean, we have a massive armada formed, the biggest we've ever had, and by far the biggest we've ever had in South America. He can do whatever he wants. It's all right. Whatever he wants to do. If he wants to do something, if he plays tough, it'll be the last time he's ever able to play tough. But they sent their prisoners into us. They sent people from jails and prisons. They sent people from mental institutions and insane asylums.
All right. That was a warning from Trump. And right now, Maduro is captured, and we're going to talk about it. So the question that we have is, has Donald Trump abandoned his America First agenda? And before we even dive into that question, Shaw, the way how I want to start us off before I pass the mic to you is the way how I'm looking at this and how I feel like we're going to attack this subject, at least on my end, right? It's not about picking sides, right? I want people to know that this show is about us speaking truth and how we see it from a lens. We are not, going to be loyal to a particular side. It's not a right or left thing. It's like, all right, this is what the possibilities could be. This is what's beyond, surface level. We're going to attack it from different angles. We're not going to be against somebody or pro somebody. We're just going to be pro speech and pro free thinking, right? And the reason why I bring that up, because Shaw, to me, this is not about hating Trump. This is not about siding with Trump. This is none of that. This is the American playbook being used, okay? Like a football team. I just watched the game just now, okay? And it's like a football team. You have a playbook and you run the same plays. And that's exactly what the government has been doing when you look at the last couple of decades, when they want to take over something, it becomes a narrative that's pushed out there, whether it was the weapons of mass destruction by George Bush and whatnot in order to evade Iraq, right? When there was no weapons of mass destruction at all. They bullied Iraq for what they wanted, right? When they captured Saddam Hussein on December 13th, 2003. I was in St. Vincent at that time. I was visiting my grandmother. I remember exactly where I was when that happened. Okay. I was not in the country. All right. 9 months later, again, the mass destruction, they portrayed that in the media. It was nothing to be found there. Then, obviously the US government, when it came to the Obama regime and the death of Libyan Liberia ruler Gaddafi, in order to prevent Gaddafi from founding African Central Bank, which would have been backed by gold, which could have challenged the power of the dollar. Okay, so this is the same thing. This is not okay. Yeah, do you agree with Trump? Do you think Trump is wilded out, or you on this side? No, this is the American government playbook. Shaw, I'll pass the mic over to you.
Wow. Well, that's a great way to actually start this conversation out. Is Trump America first, or is this just the United States government playbook? And there's layers to that. I'll say this. You can look back to however many past presidents back and see when the APAC was founded and how many presidents have kissed the wall. I'm not even here to play. Okay, we're here to have our own ideas and our own thoughts, but this is where we're at right now. And this is the reason why I said that. I love people. I'll go on to say that. Jew, Gentile, free, slave. I love people, period. Because I think that this goes to be bigger than the people. Rather, it becomes those who are in power. And frankly, because I try to give my brain less chaos and confusion, and I just stick to scripture, I stick to what I know to be biblical facts, and also, with regards to history, because I love debate. I believe that this is powers that we're working with. It's money, it's control, it's land, because we're seeing it now, right? I think I just sent you a video, but the Colombian president's like, they're him coming in to get Maduro is evil, and they just want to hide because they got their pedophiles and the Epstein files, and then he said to him today, he better I wonder if he's watching this. He should be watching this. He better shut his mouth, because we're coming for you too. Colombia about to get got. Peru I believe it's going to become South America. It's going to become America in a minute. Because he loved to change a name. The Gulf of Mexico became Gulf of America. He didn't even need Congress. We're playing in some very, very sketchy waters. And to me, whether or not the presidents have all had the same kind of way of doing things, which is most government rulers have the same play to get land, get oil, and sometimes they work well together, and sometimes they don't. I think we're in the point of life where things are not only not working well, they're either constructed chaos or it's just chaos. Something's happening. I can't put my finger on it quite yet, but I did have a look at the Economist magazine with the projections of 2026, the predictions of 2026, and really it looks like predictive programming 2026. We can talk about that later. There are so many things that have already happened that are pictured on that artwork.
And we'll get that artwork up, at some point in the show. But Shaw, it's funny that you bring up, America taking over, right? Because I can literally play devil's advocate in a way, because I'm not saying that I disagree, but I think there's a particular country that took over America, if you ask me, and got America in the back pocket. Okay, the United States of Israel. Okay,
I said
that's
that.
neither here there.
That's what
Okay,
I said.
so we talk about America taking over. Yeah, I'm not sure if America has been under paywall, right? Because it probably is. But at the end of the day, when you look at this capturing, right, and obviously the bombings that happened in Nigeria, on Christmas Day, it's beyond Trump. Okay, this is government we're talking about here. Okay, and obviously I've got to see the government act. way before Trump took office and whatnot. This is the same playbook. And a lot of people wonder, is this being done from the heart? Do you really care about the killing of Christians and whatnot? Because again, that's been going on for over 2 decades plus. Okay, in Nigeria. Now, why is it becoming because I remember I asked that question a couple of times on this show. Why is it that something that has been going on for over 2 decades is becoming a major thing all of a sudden? Could it be social media? Could it be the fact that things are brought to light now and there was pressure from Trump's base to act on, the killings of Christians and whatnot? But then I'm like, maybe this is part of the takeover. Maybe that's why it's being a big thing now because, there's oil, there's obviously in Venezuela, there's, top tier oil and whatnot that hasn't been tapped and that is untapped. So maybe this is all a power play. And yeah, sure, these things are very well happening. Killings of Christians are happening. All right. The weapons of mass destructions, that wasn't real. Okay. There was none. Now, they are Christians that's being killed. Okay. We know that, right? Now, is it Christians only? I mean, if you look at reports, there's other, people being killed. They just bombed the mosque, a couple days ago, right? So these things are happening, but these things are not being done, or the America's not intervening because of those things only. They got to be ulterior motives.
Yeah, well, I think that's exactly right. There's ulterior motives, and the thing about it is that right now, when you are stifled from saying anything about the state of Israel, then you don't talk about the elephant in the room, right? That's why they had this big push for banning anti-Semitism, which really doesn't even apply to the modern day Jewish people, but that's a whole nother story. Um, so to speak about, if I wanted to speak about you, what you have to say, am I a racist? Am I like going out shouting hard R's to everybody? No. But what we've done is we have silenced the voice of criticizing, like Kanye's been shouting for years and everybody called him crazy. It's because when there's so much in your mind and you know what's right, but you're being told to know, not say what you see, that's not what you're looking at. Good is evil and evil is good. So then you can't really criticize the elephant in the room. Well, the elephant in the room has control over the big banks of all over the country. Do you know why Venezuela is being looked at, being targeted, and got their president abducted, straight up kidnapped? And who kidnaps a president and their wife? Wow, that's
I mean,
bold.
this was one of the most gangster moves I've ever seen.
That's bold. That's very bold. So they did that. And I just wonder, he's in the country now legally, so is ICE going to take him out and then bring him back to Venezuela and bring him? Like, what is it all about? Is ICE even real? Are we just targeting? We just pinpointing what we like and what we don't like? How are you going to steal? This would make. I'm sorry, I had to finish that thought, but I want to go here. Wouldn't you, if you're Putin, who has business in Venezuela, if you're Xi Jinping, who has business in Venezuela and as well as Iran, would you feel like, okay, so let me just, so wait. So what had happened was he went into Venezuela in the middle at 3 a.m. on January 3rd, 33 degrees. He went in there and stole the president. Could this happen to me? So if you're either calling the bluff of Putin and Xi, see what they're really about, or because I wouldn't be able to sleep good knowing that. And China just left. They were at a meeting that same day. Trump is sending a strong message. We could have came and got you. He's like Saul chasing David. We could have came and got you when China was still there. We got you in the middle of the morning after your meetings wrapped up. But just let you know, we had you surrounded. China, if you want to mess around, you can find out, because they keep throwing that slogan around. So what I'm saying is, a lot of things are happening where Venezuela still doesn't have a central banking system. They have their own privatized systems. They're not a Rothschild run banking system. They can't have that. They've obviously got a lot of oil. And then if they want to go bomb Iran, they ain't got to worry about the fact that oil gets skyrocket. They already got enough oil now. There's so many layers to this intervention. And the point is unlike all the other presidents that had to pretend like they had a level head, we have a maniacal, haughty alpha man that every man thinks he's so cool because he's alpha. This dude is gonna gangster everybody into Babylon being destroyed, where bodies won't even be able to be buried. Okay, because if Putin and Kim Jong Un decide no, this what he did is he messing with our money now because he blew up the ports too that night a couple nights ago. He blew up the ports in Venezuela, so that's stopping their money. So if we're just talking about street gangs and street knowledge, you don't. That's messing with the money right there. Right? Not only did you steal the land, you said we're gonna stay. He said we're gonna stay in Venezuela till we think there is a good transfer of power. So basically, you can just say there's no. I don't agree with you. So basically, you have the land. You own the land now.
And
So
look,
what I'm saying is, Lil, we have a problem here because now we have a person who did not talk to Congress before they made that move. He doesn't want to play by the rules. He already told the Christians, this is the last time you have to vote. He already said this is the last Christmas. It's all in front of our faces. Whether we choose to be willfully bliss is up to us.
I mean, look, I think obviously a lot to digest, right? Because the reasons that the government are using the capturing of Maduro is oil and immigration, right? Obviously, Trump said that Venezuela had stolen oil. Okay, that obviously they will restore Venezuela's oil infrastructure, immigration, the economic collapse under Maduro, repression. Obviously, Venezuelans fleeing to America over the decade, which meant that Venezuela problems are obviously becoming U.S. problems. And I think that's happening, right? Other countries, third world countries and whatnot, people migrating to America, obviously under the Biden border, just walking right in there like the VIP at a club. Hey, how you doing? All right. Yeah, America. Yeah, right. So those are the reasons why the narrative coming out from the government. But what you're saying, Sean Michelle, is that maybe this could set a dangerous precedent going forward. Because if a leader, a president like Maduro is captured just like that, what's to stop Vladimir Putin from capturing Zelensky? Yeah, we got beef, we got war, we've been going at it. I'll just rack you up, bro. What's to
There's
say that world leaders can't do that, right? Now, that's the thing I'm going to hit at because is this setting a different precedent that other leaders could do the same thing?
absolutely. There's checks and balances. There's international law for a reason. The UN is either afraid of Trump or they're not about that life or they're just a front spot, right? Because they're supposed to take him to jail now for that because that's an internationally broke the law. And he broke the law to him in America. So Congress really should be taking Trump to court right now. He is above the law. He's showing us why. Bibi Netanyahu the other day said, Mandami said, if you come to New York, I'm going to arrest you. He said, I'm coming to New York. And he said, this Bibi, he's like, in the interviewer's like, oh, so you're going to go to New York? You're not worried about it? He goes, I'm going to come to New York. And he says, what if he tries to arrest you? He goes, yeah, we'll see about that. He knows he's above the law. He knows he owns the way Levy gripped up Trump like a little baby in that White House at that conference. Levine, whatever his name is, we know who your handlers is. I think here's my psyop mind just working here because I enjoy that. Right or wrong or indifferent, we have to try to think about all of these things. So it's better to just have fun with it, right? What are we looking at? Okay, it could be this. But it feels like there is some blackmail and or like I said, when I say Trump kissed the wall, you do know that I mean going into Jerusalem, touching the wall, doing the whole thing, right? So that's what I mean about having allegiance to the
Eric
lobbyists of
Adams
the
was doing that
AIPAC.
too. That was the first place he
A
went
lot of them.
when
There's
he was when
thousands
he
of
was
people.
done.
The new Maria Corina Machado, the one that they probably will install, she's already given her allegiance to Israel. We will be Israel's best friend. Israel has not been allowed in to mess with Venezuela. She is giving them the red carpet. right? So now we have a bunch of states that looks like the lobby, and again, they use their dollars. They are the paying prostitute in Bible scripture, I believe. The ones that usually prostitutes get paid, they end up paying. Do this, do that, do that. That's what I from what I read from in Revelations. That's what I'm putting in that place. They are the ones that go in and do all the bidding through money. And BB said, he goes, we just pay. That's the way we do it.
I think we losing Shaw. Shaw, you good? Technology.
Yeah,
Shaw, you there?
I bet we're saying a lot of things that technology doesn't like. But
Yeah, I know that's
anyways,
probably
so
what.
yeah, so we have the thing is, Lil, is we have Shlomo, who's one of the meta directors, is saying that we really need to get speaking of, we really need to get a hold on this social media. We can't just have people talking about this and that. This was a few days ago too. So basically he really wants to put an axe on this free speech. We've been talking about this for a while on this network, but even more so now. So these conversations are going to happen less and less, and especially with all the height of information, because everybody's doing too much research. Everybody's digging too much. They can't have people in the way free thinking. It's not okay. So prepare for that to be, for all these things to shut down. Prepare for once you have to sign up for digital ID, not to say certain things because it's a credit check like in China. So all that to say, folks, I think we have entered the game where there is, Lil, yes, there is that event that happened on January the 3rd of 2026 where Pete Hegseth and the U.S. military went in and captured, kidnapped, abducted, whatever you want to call it. Maduro is setting a very dangerous precedent for and creating a very instability for many of the world's leaders, because now I don't think you comfortably sleep well at night when you know somebody can roll up in your spot and steal you. This is not how it works. And Trump is clearly showing you he's above the law.
I mean, look, I would say this: is it setting a dangerous precedent? To me, that's subjective because not every country has the. First of all, there's alliances, right? That's number one. So obviously, to answer my own rhetorical question, I don't believe that Vladimir Putin could just go up and take Zelensky because there's alliances, right? Now, also, not every military is up like ours. I think one of our biggest assets is our military. Like we have one of the best militaries in the world, which is why we are able to go and allegedly, right, kill Osama bin Laden, even though a body never showed up. You know what's funny? I'm gonna take a line from Power because I watched that show Power. Until that body showed up, he ain't dead. Okay, and nobody
Period.
showed up. Okay,
Period.
but
Period. I
allegedly,
question everything. Everything.
let's just go with the narrative, okay? Just for the argument's sake. So yeah, when they killed Osama bin Laden, nobody got hurt, harmed, and whatnot. Obviously, the military base strikes in Iran and whatnot a couple months ago. Obviously, the capturing of Maduro without I believe anybody from the military getting hurt seriously. Maybe a couple people probably got hurt. I don't think nobody got killed. Not everybody has the same military that we have where they can have operations like this and pretty much walk out of there scot free. And that's why I think I'm not sure if it sets a different precedent or a precedent that could be similar in the future, because America has been doing this for a long time, and I haven't seen other countries doing it thus far on the scale as America, which have been doing this obviously for the past 2 decades.
Well, I'll say this, and that's very understandable. Listen, we know that America has been the powerhouse of the world. Currency, military might, all of these things is just factual, even statistical. Here's the thing with that: when you come into a time where there's so much heightened insecurity, you do realize that if you're smart and you've worked for intelligence, like Putin, KGB, if you're off the grid like Kim Jong-un's, and those are your allies. Venezuela had allies too. They had Russia and Putin, sorry, and China and Iran in their country. America said we don't care. China was just like I said. They had their highest levels of military. Only person that wasn't there that same day was Xi Jinping, which is the president of the country. And I find that interesting. I'm just looking more into that. But and America still came hours later. So if in fact we do come with that, which I think sometimes that's the gloating personality of the sitting president Donald Trump now, is like, yeah, because he's saying it over and over. I've heard it. You want to mess around and find out? We've heard that, right? If you want to make somebody who has nuclear capable missiles find out before you make a move, this is created the biggest instability, Lil. It's not about military might. Ain't nobody going at this point. Putin knows where he can go to go underground. All them know they can go underground, and all they have to do is throw the nuke, period. Okay.
Yeah.
And they can all do it at the same time. If they really want to get back America,
I
they
mean,
can
it's
throw it
one
at
of
the
those,
same
we'll
time.
burn the whole building down.
Yeah,
If
that's what
what
you
it
do
is.
to the bully. You burn the whole building down. You say, you know what? Since we have no other choice, let's just do
Yeah,
the last
it's like the
option. They
equivalent of
go underground.
it's the equivalent of a student getting bullied at school and saying, you know what, I'm gonna burn this whole mother sucker down, and I'm gonna
And,
shoot up the principal, the teacher, and I know I'm gonna get killed probably, right? But I'm
and
gonna
they
just
know it.
burn it down.
That's what I think about, Lil. When you have a death wish, you're like, all right, some of these guys are old. They're like, whatever. I'm gonna go out guns a blazing type of thing. I don't think they care anymore, especially if you don't have a pulse, really. If you don't have any kind of like emotions to the world, people are already kind of seen as you know roaches in many regards all over this world. Less people, less population, less this.
Yep.
So I think if you are saying, okay, you guys keep saying this, and you're in there, and you're putting us in a position where we have to show you our might. I think he's putting Putin, he's putting Xi, he's putting Kim Jong-un in a position where they're gonna have to show their might, or because he already bombed Iran. That's their buddies too. Now he came in and stole Venezuela. That's their buddies too. They're gonna have to do something, or else a whole world's gonna call you a chump, Putin and Xi. I don't think that's how it's gonna work. I think
That's an
something
interesting
major. I
point.
feel it in my bones. Something major is happening. This
That's
is
an
why when I was
interesting point. You just made a point that I think is very interesting. And this is why I love having you on, because I haven't even looked at it that way. You see Trump flexing all this muscle. First of all, right? And I'm gonna come back to that point in a second. Now, the Biden administration, they did offer $25 million for information leading to the arrest of Nicolas Maduro. This was during the Biden administration. Trump just went in there and just took the dude. Obviously, we played the clip of him giving a warning, and he acted on that. Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate, but I'm going to come back to your point because your point is very interesting. Now, if Kamala was president, right, and this is what the Trump conundrum is for me, because as much as you want to get on the negative side and criticize him, you also, and maybe I'm not speaking for everybody, maybe I'm just speaking for myself. This is where it becomes like very illuminating, right? The fact that you think about what if Kamala was in office and where we would, where would we be? Obviously she's not flexing any muscle when it comes to foreign affairs, right? The woman can't even have an interview without laughing like a hyena. Okay. And obviously during the Biden regime, America was getting bullied. They was getting bullied left and right. It was like taking candy from a baby. This guy was asleep. He couldn't have a conversation without dozing off. Okay. And this woman can't have a conversation without laughing like a hyena, right? Trump is literally taking over. He's literally making moves, right? And literally it's like, this is what we're doing, and this is how we're doing it. We're going to take this dude, we're going to capture this dude and whatnot. First of all, the dude keeps smiling. So that's another conversation. This conversation is just getting started, Shaw. Okay. There's so many angles we can hit this from. But you mentioned a point, and now I want to come back to your point as I promised. with Trump doing all this making moves, you mentioned that there's other foreign leaders that may be looking at that and having this man mentality, right? Like, yo, he doing something. I gotta flex my muscle. I gotta do something, right? Because that's how men think, right? Men will see other men making moves, and the natural thing for a man is like, yo, okay, yeah, I gotta let me let me shrug my shoulders out. I gotta make a move. Do you think that what he's doing, going back to the precedent conversation, right, could literally make other people like King Jong Un, Mr. Rocket Launcher, whatever, Vladimir, like, yo, I gotta flex muscle here because Trump is doing that.
Absolutely. That's what I'm trying to get us to understand, you guys, is that we are looking at great instability on the behead stuff. I don't care. So many laws have been broken within the United States. You have to come to Congress before you make moves like that. He goes with the precedent of, I don't want to talk to them because they're going to leak it to the media because they're crazy Democrats. It's all a mess. This is not how it works. I don't even care if you don't want to do that. That's not how it works. You can't just go and do what you're doing, period. I don't care if you like him or if you don't like him. There are laws. And the point is that we have red lettered the law. We have taken the law and said, so that makes other countries feel, and this is supposed to be united. This is also, like I said, international law. So the UN, are they having meetings? Are they going to step in? Or is this just a big game? Because I started to look around. I look at Maduro's page, and he's doing a lot of this. I think it's a one big club, and we're not in
I
it,
mean,
and
this dude
everybody
is
plays a
literally
part.
chilling. This dude's giving thumbs up and whatnot.
He's throwing
I
on
seen a
5
video of
different
this
outfits.
dude,
You got
changing 1,000 outfits. I mean, now this is a point that I want to bring up, right? But before we get there, what would you say to the naysayer, to the person that want to play devil's advocate, right? Because I'm doing that a lot here because I'm
yeah,
seeing it in two different ways. This is so much angles you can hit this from, right? What about the people that's out there in Venezuela that's celebrating the capture? Because there are clearly people, that's out there celebrating. I believe I have a clip of this guy dancing right now. If I can get this up, my joint is a little bit backlogged today. But I got a video of this dude dancing. Here we go. We're gonna play it right now.
Agarraron, estoy llorando de verdad. Nunca pensé en este día, mira esto, todo Caracas en la calle.
I mean, you would have thought Jesus came. Salute
uh,
to Jesus. Okay, you would have thought the second coming of Jesus was going on. I mean, these people in Venezuela are very happy that Trump stepped in. The people in Nigeria are very happy that Trump stepped in and delivered the airstrikes on Christmas because of the killing of Christians. So, what would you say to that person that's going to say, you know what, Shaw? Well, the people in these countries are celebrating.
yeah. Well, I think that some of those things are going to be legitimate. Other of those are going to be paid protesters. Listen, there are actual organizations that pay people to go out there and kick up a fuss or cheer for one side or another. How in the world, within hours, look at the New York Post. Within hours after this attack happened, they got Libertad, um, Venezuelan stickers that they're putting on their head and all of this stuff. They had in Toronto, they had protests and flags open. How did they get the flag so fast? How did they get the stickers that say liberty so
No, that was
fast?
fast.
Hours. That doesn't make sense to me. These things don't make sense. I've never just rolled up on a protest and seen how it starts. So that's where I'm kind of like, how does this happen? Like, and all of a sudden they take to the streets and they're throwing up their flags and they got all these stickers. Like, these things was printed way before this. So my mind likes to go with logic. I like to go, no. And then also with great discernment, I sit with great discernment. Lord, give me discernment. These times are really weird. I'm not gonna even give myself credit. And I feel like the things that I see seem real obvious to me, and they're not necessarily so obvious to other people. And that's okay. Everybody has their own gifts. But I like to investigate and to look into things more. And so that the flags already being ready, the stickers that say Libertad already ready within hours after the strike, it strikes me as what we're really dealing with is a big, and I never thought this in a million years, the world's a stage, the world's a stage. We're dealing with, like you said, the guy's laughing. He's in Nike Tech, which is just the most
Yeah,
demonic ever.
I do think that there are people that's genuinely happy that he got
I do
captured,
think there are some people
and
who are
I
genuinely
do
happy
think
for
there's
it now.
people that's I've seen people, especially with the Nigerian stuff that's going on in Nigeria. I've definitely seen people comment, happy. Most Americans seem to be more upset with the move than Nigerian people. And my question to you, and this is what I want to end off, is has Donald Trump abandoned the America First agenda? Because we do talk about Israel a lot and whatnot, and there are events, and this is where I leave asking rhetorical questions and playing devil's advocate. Because when I voted for Trump, I always say I voted for him for two reasons: conservative values, which was the number one, just off of values alone. Okay, who is talking about stuff that I feel like can stimulate society? Forget abortion, pro family, whatnot. And he was never really a conservative. He was a populist, but populism today is more in the middle, but it's like closer to the right. So you go conservative values, number one, and that word right there, America first. Those two things was why I voted for Trump. But as a person who voted for Trump, and fast forward into January 5, the time we recording this, right? 2025, and where I stand now, and how I look upon as did I get my time worth, my vote worth, right? I'm looking at it like I'm seeing him do a lot of foreign stuff. And from the optics perspective, it looks, you know, good, right? From an optics perspective, right? Before we obviously get the magnifying glass and we dive into different possibilities from the optics, he's making moves. He captured, somebody, a competitor of America, and literally went into their country and captured him. He bombed, Nigeria to save Christians and whatnot. From an optics perspective, it looks good. But from a person that I voted for America, for the economy, for the lower groceries, right now I'm seeing a lot of foreign stuff, and I feel like that America First agenda is being abandoned because we didn't sign up for that. Trump was known to be a person that was anti-war, at least from the optics perspective, right? He's not a guy who wanted war. He wanted peace because he was a businessman, and we all know in business, peace is the biggest thing you can have in business. That's what you want is peace when you talk about business. And we labeled him a businessman, right? And everybody trying to eat out here, right? So we thinking he's an anti-war type of guy. Oh, if I was in office, the war in Ukraine and Russia would never happen. He always said that plenty of times. But now we fast forward to now, and the missile strikes and bombing the our Iranian missile bases and whatnot. That caught everybody off guard. Nobody was ever thought Trump would do something like that. And obviously the interference with Nigeria and the airstrikes over there, and now over here with Maduro. Has Trump turned his back on his America First agenda?
Well, Lil, the proof is in the pudding, right? Um, it's there's one thing about me is I have trust issues, so I don't believe a lot of what people say. I certainly don't. I certainly think that sometimes politicians go into it with, I want to see this change. I do think that human beings can have that in their heart and actually want to come into a position where they can create some sort of positive change. But I do know that if we're looking at politicians and what they have been known for, is they're not really the truest, right? I think and just to sway another, to go left a little bit, I think Madami ran his mayoral campaign based on the subway prices and transit, and I believe the transit prices just rose
Just went
yesterday.
up today.
So that's a big fat
Three
lie.
dollars.
Eggs was a big thing
Free,
that
free, free, free. You
eggs
okay?
was a big thing that people was wanting Trump to change. The fruit, I don't I don't trust a lot of what people say, and that's the problem. So then that's why I look with a different lens. I go pull out and I see what is the person's actions showing. What are they saying out loud that they may say, is this a joke? And and it's offensive to me, or it sounds unright. It sounds like something I don't stand with. And then I try to make moves like that. I stepped away from voting. I knew that that was something that person, neither of those candidates deserved my vote. And a bird definitely doesn't fly like this in the air.
I just think in general, to be fair, and I think all the points that you brought up, are definitely points to look into, especially for anybody that's going to be watching this show. You see, the thing I want to do here on this show is I want to throw out possibilities, right? Like it's not about taking a side, it's about throwing every single possibility there is out there and let you, the listener, come up with your own idea,
All
right?
right.
And I think for me, when you talk about the Trump America First agenda, I think, and it was reasonable to think this going in, that obviously the world is already fixed, right? We already know that. There's things that are being ushered in that Trump has no control over. So to look at him as this person that was
That
going to
he's
be the savior to me was a mistake if anybody did that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when the COVID pandemic happened or the pandemic happened, he was in office. So now I don't think he was trying to be a part of that. Right? The economy was decent at that time before it took a dive, right? But what I'm saying is it went beyond him, right? And he played a part with warp speed or whatnot, right? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, let's what I mean. So again, these things are already in motion. When you talk about what's going on in the world with the central banking and the digital currency and whatnot, these things are already in motion. So Trump is not really going to stop that, right? This is bigger than Trump. So when I have this conversation about Maduro, it's not about is Trump making power moves. It's not about is Trump having his alternative agenda. It's about the playbook of American government, okay? And what the American government has been doing before Trump and what American government is going to be doing post Trump. And that's just what it is. So
Yeah.
again, it's all in the same playbook and it's being played again. And some people will benefit from it. There's going to be Christians in Nigeria that feel a little bit safe now, knowing that America is standing on business. But they're going to be happy. There's going to be people in Venezuela, despite what ulterior motive it could be, that's out there going to be celebrating. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, you might have a few paid actors and whatnot, but there's going to be legitimate people that's happy that this cat is out of there.
Sports, politics, conspiracy theories. We are here to give you our unique perspectives on things happening in the world. It's the one and only, The Real Lil on The Real Lil Show.
We're going to talk about this Anthony Joshua thing, and I think that was a good discussion. We're going to talk about the Anthony Joshua thing because I want to talk about the aftermath of it. Obviously, I did a video on that already, and we all know, what happened. Anthony Joshua was visiting his I believe his grandparents in Nigeria with two of his friends, one of his strength and conditioning coaches and another childhood friend, I believe. And the two friends died in the accident. Joshua was able to make it out pretty much unscathed, if you really think about it. So the question is, what does this incident say about social media and classism? And the reason why I want to bring that up is because I think that one incident has highlighted a lot of things for me. So I'm not sure if you got to see the video. I would hope that you didn't see certain videos because this is where I want to take the conversation to because some of them were graphic. But yeah, so basically Anthony Joshua is in a big accident and you see no ambulance in sight. Okay, so that speaks to a problem in Nigeria, right? We're talking about a millionaire here. Okay, one of the biggest boxers in the world. At one point in his prime, the biggest heavyweight in the world. Right now, he's a little bit, a little bit over the hill, but still very, very relevant. Right, and yet he couldn't get no ambulance or nothing. Okay, he had to be helped out of a car by strangers and whatnot. But everybody had their phones out. I've even seen a video. Unfortunately, my friend sent me the video. These days you really have to. You're taking a risk when you click on the video. I seen a video up to the deceased. Laying there in a pool of blood, and I'm saying to myself, I'm like, where have we gotten to? Where, and this ties into the Switzerland thing, where people are in a dangerous spot, and yet instead of helping, or just instead of having respect, the first instinct is to take out the phone and record. Like, how are we so programmed to our phones in that way, where we just disrespect human life and whatnot, and we are willing to take videos and stuff like that and post it? To me, I don't understand how we got here. I mean, I kind of do, but I'm asking a rhetorical question.
Yeah, Lil, I feel, first of all, I wanted to just say I feel like accidents happen every day, death happens every day, but for the world to witness these things, like you said, in such a unclassified way, where we are not necessarily looking for it. Sometimes that's a problem with social media. You'll be scrolling, you see something that you don't want to see. That being one of those things. It's there's a lot of things to say about that. One, I pray that they knew Jesus Christ. I pray that they are saved. I pray that they had, they had their affairs in order with their spirit, because that's just me as a Christ follower. We're gonna die. Everybody gonna take their last breath. No one knows when, though. That's the thing. They said Anthony Joshua was in the car and he moved seats, and all of a sudden, why are they laying in the pool of blood? Is this a ritual? So, Logan Paul, is it the curse of fighting? All this stuff, right? The point of the matter is that it's really sad to see them go, alive. I saw videos of them before they were working out. You look at this like this. You just look at this and you think you have the next moment. An asteroid can fall out of the sky and knock you upside the head and hit your head into that microphone and we be dead. Like, we don't know. So it's like, we're just watching all of these things happen. And this is the problem, Lil. That's a great question. Is it like we're watching things happen that we can't unsee, that is making us harden to the world. So when people die, people video. When there's a fire,
Yeah, I mean, you look at that Switzerland video. I mean, people are recording it.
And did you see that? People were trying to climb out the window, but the fire was so rapid. That to me made me think, Lil, that's what hell's gonna be like, but at the gazillion times worth. People are gonna be weeping and gnashing of teeth. You read it all the time, and that
Keep
just gave
listening
me
to Cardi B.
Right. That just gave me this visual of, because people were trying to claw out the window and the fire just sucked them up. So,
and nobody
people were
thought to take a rock and throw it at the window. Just take out the phone.
So a lot of people could have been saved for that, but because we live in such a world that is defiled by me, selfie, lovers of good and not lovers of evil and not good, and to be all of this stuff, it's just, we are in the last days. Everything that and that's why, honestly, that's why my main pivot is everything. I can't even function enough to think about what the world has to say about everything, because I already know it's collapsing. So I just spend a lot of time reading the word and seeing that, yes, all of these things are happening. People are literally lovers of self, lovers of good, not evil, or of evil, not good. People are seeing evil as good now, and evil and good as evil. It's all backwards world. And so, yeah, people have watched such a tragic event with with one of the most well-known people boxers in the world, but this happens all the time, and people are recording all the time, and they're sharing it and just shocking people for no good reason. So I think this is a really, 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 really sad display on a large scale.
Yeah. And that's the unfortunate part. I don't really think people are supposed to be seeing the things that they see. You know, again, I go back to that song that I brought up on the show a couple of times because, again, when I heard that song really hit something in me because it was a very powerful song. It was almost like a song that I was scared of. Be careful, little eyes, what you see, right? And be careful, little ears, what you hear. And I think that song is very relevant because I think a lot of the reasons why people are messed up today, people had mental health issues, people are just losing it, the world is collapsing, is because people are not careful about what they hear and what they see. And I think social media has a big part and a negative part on what people see because you could literally see somebody dead and lifeless on a camera. And I don't think we were meant to see that.
No,
Okay, I don't
we
think
were
we were meant to see that at all.
we were not meant to see that.
And you see,
And
and I saw that in this video
mm,
again, and I think
mm.
I'm gonna take accountability because that was me being nosy, but I didn't know what I didn't know to the extent of what I was gonna see. Obviously, I was nosy about the car crash. I didn't know that I would see two dead bodies, okay, and a missing head in the video. I didn't really know what I
Oh
was
my
up for.
gosh, what?
Yeah, I mean, it was that bad. It was that bad. It was a terrible video, and the fact that somebody could actually record that and put that out on X to me stems a bigger problem. And that's why we having this conversation right now, because this is a random crash. Obviously, it happens to have a famous, box in it, but it really isn't about that. It's about the fact that we are in a society where people have no regards. Again, with the Switzerland, you couple that with the Switzerland video, people just recording people getting burnt alive. I mean, yeah, we have a serious problem right now.
Oh, we have a serious problem. And this is why, Lil, I have been really understanding how important it is to acknowledge that idol worship is more than just golden calves or going to serve like gods that we carve with our hands. It's this phone. You sit on this phone long enough, you're gonna see some things you shouldn't see. And I think we should limit ourselves. I don't think we need government overreach saying what you can't do, what you can do, but there needs to be some kind of, but then it makes me think, yeah, but there needs to be something that stops these images from going up on there.
Yeah,
Because
especially X. Especially X. I
yeah,
see it a
oh,
lot.
I'm on X. That's
And
why I
X
think
is where I get my news. So that's why I
yeah,
haven't really deplatformed the platform. But
right.
I get my news from there.
No, and
But
that's understandable. It's understandable. This is not something that we are. That's why having kids too. And I'm like,
I mean,
I'll
you
be sitting.
literally could watch a news video, and then the next video that comes up is somebody cheeks getting clapped. I mean, it's really no
Yeah,
belief.
exactly. And that's what I was saying. That's exactly it, Lil. I'll be sitting there like my sons will be trying to show me something, and he'll be going up, and we'll flick up, and all of a sudden he's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!"
Yeah,
It's so awful, and I know they ain't searching for it. They're not searching for it. They see it, but when their little eyes see that, they can't unsee it. Now they unseen something way outside of their
yeah.
age range, and
And who
this is the
knows what it
problem,
does
right?
to your mind? Who
And this
knows
is what
what
it
it
does.
does to your mind?
A disease, it's a disease. It's a disease, and it's sick, and it's growing, and it's causing children that are 8 years old to have porn addictions and all this crap. Lil, this is tragic.
No, it
This
is.
is tragic because of them just going and mind their business, trying to watch some funny video and on YouTube. I see it all the time. And then all of a sudden, some weird, creepy sicko video will pop in there, and then they gotta pray like, Lord, I have my oldest son's like, God, I want just, Lord, no, I want to be right. I want to be right with you. He's a young man that's growing up, and he's like really trying to stay on the right track. I see it in him all the time. He didn't ask to see some of this crap.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, we're living in a world, Lil, where this is unfortunately some of the last hours, some of the last seconds between something beyond tragic, and now we're softened up to the most tragic events.
And it just goes to show you, and a couple final thoughts here. It goes to show you that from Anthony Joshua perspective, but to everybody else that could use it to apply it to their lives, individually, famous or not, is that just like how Anthony Joshua, is caught up into boxing, and fighting the next guy and trying to win. Obviously, had a fight with Jake Paul and won the fight and whatnot, and then has a massive. Who knows if that's going to continue, right? If he doesn't have any survivors remorse and whatnot, but prior to this, had a massive big fight against Tyson Fury coming up in the year. It goes to show you that whatever we are chasing, in our careers and whatnot. I mean, we could lose it all. We could lose the most precious thing, which is life. And he was literally centimeters away from losing it all. So my point being is to whatever we chasing, because I feel like we are in a relay race in life. And I could even say this for myself as well, where we are chasing something. Okay. We on this road where I feel like a lot of us are missing out on precious relationships and spending time with people like family and whatnot. And because we are chasing something, we are chasing whatever we are in our individual careers. And again, it could be all taken away, people could be taken away. So I really feel like, that should be a lesson for not only Anthony Joshua to cherish the moments that he has, obviously, but other common people to do the same thing. Because whatever we chasing really is just a race that really is not really meant for people to win when you really think about it on a bigger scale.
That
But
makes me feel very to feel, it makes me feel very happy that you mentioned it like that. First of all, because I am a runner and I'm a race, but some things we're just not meant to run after. We're not meant to chase after, and that's really true. And to that, I'll say that's exactly what you're saying is found in Matthew 16 or Matthew 6. Treasures. Do not store up yourself treasures on this earth, where moths and vermin destroy, where thieves break in and steal, but store up for yourself treasures in heavens, where moths and vermin do not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also.
yep. And
Spoiled.
where I want to end specifically is when you talk about the, and this is where I'm end the classism, right? Because obviously Anthony Joshua financially is in a really good spot, and yet it didn't matter
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
he was in that spot when that accident happened because there was no ambulance. And I think for the common people, hopefully what this incident does is educate people on what's happening as far as or what's not happening, as far as aid. I believe that there was a political uh person, could be an activist, could be just a regular political guy that was stabbed, in that country, and the guy had to literally lift him up on the arm. There was, again, there's no ambulance and whatnot. Like, people, I've seen people on social media talk about different stories and whatnot. So again, if it can happen to Anthony Joshua, it's pretty much happening to any common person. So
Well,
again, we'll see.
well, maybe, maybe that America's in there. Maybe they're gonna own it too, and they can fix that problem too.
We'll
I
see, right?
mean, there's so much stuff happening. Lil, and I make light of things that are big sometimes just to free my brain from like literally crumbling. But no, because there's nothing to laugh about with all these events. But if America's going in there and they're going there with this righteous to go and save everything, maybe they'll throw some ambulance. But we do need to talk about America. We need to talk about the fraud. We need to talk about the veterans sleeping in the streets. We need to talk about the homelessness. We need to talk about America. What is my what? And I care about everybody. But what I'm saying is if you're running a country, how can you extend your resources everywhere but your country? I'm just
I
a
agree.
regular human that loves people and knows that the wars they fight is bigger than us. But I'm thinking if I run a country, you might want to get your country fixed before you go all the way across the world. Like, what are we doing here? So we can leave that, like, ourselves with that thought. What's really good? Are you just like, what's really good? You know? And so to that, I'll say, I pray for the posture of these presidents and these leaders' hearts that God's will is done.
Yeah, definitely. And I think why I end here is you know, look, there's no way else for me to put it. Society is collapsing. And
It's,
I think a lot of it has to do with, it's a lot of layers, right? And I think some of the layers begin with us as a people, with individuals and life choices that we make and whatnot. And I think again, if we want to see society get back to a point where the economy is stimulated, first of all, and I know this is opening up a can of worms that I really don't got the time for because bed is calling me. Got to get up in the morning. But what I would
that's right.
say is we talk about some of the things that presidents could do for us, but we never talk about what we could do for ourselves, right? We look at an economy that's, you know, uh the last couple of years been in a mess, right? And we complain about groceries and whatnot and how much eggs cost and whatnot, but we never really look for ourselves to create solutions. We talk about, the president and whatnot. And the reason why I say that is because there's a lot of things going on social media when it comes to the separation of men and women, and
Mm-hmm.
marriage rates are going down. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's going down. I mean, you look across, the board here. It's going down. It's not increasing. It's decreasing. So when you talk about these issues, one of the things that help, making a neighborhood thrive, a economy thrive, a community thrive, a people thrive is your household. And again, when you look at the broken homes, I don't know who in the hell think they're going to be thriving if their communities are not. And I think that starts with us before we even look to Trump or anybody to do anything about the economy.
1,000%. Everything starts in the home first, and that's why the enemy attacks the home. That's why
Yeah,
everybody's gay. Like,
exactly. And
like
that's
Candace
why,
said.
yep, that's why everything is meant to divide the home
Yeah,
and
mental.
poison your children with videos, that
Yeah,
they're not supposed to see, so they can corrupt the child's mind.
yeah,
So they are indoctrinating the child as
right.
opposed to being a child that's being raised in a two-family home with God as a centerpiece and a structure. But that's neither
Right.
here or there. This is where
And
we are.
they've even taken the words that are meant to be jovial, like gay was supposed to be happy and joy, and they've turned it and perverted it.
Yeah.
So everybody's not happy and actually gay in their perverted way, and all these different things. And so yes, that rips out the family, and it's because of the indoctrination. Most people don't want no parts of it, but because they've seen it so much and they can't unsee it, or because they've done too much and they don't feel like they can undo it, which they can. That's where the confusion that's where the confusion is. So we don't need to be mad at people that have fallen into that indoctrination. We need to pray for them. We need to let them know that all this stuff is a lie, and we need to change it. Like, we need to go in and change the systems that are corrupting us, the media, all these things. But then again, that's where all these people all these countries tend to revolt. That's when that happens, because people start to get fed up. So hopefully America doesn't have to get to that point, and we do see some better fruit. Otherwise, I think everybody's going to find out.
I mean, hey, what they said about taxes, there's a thing going on where people not paying taxes or whatever. Sign me up for that. How
Yeah.
about we all do it? Right? How about we
a
all
lot of
do it?
people are not. A lot of people are saying no. Even Donald Trump was saying no. Like, you don't have to. You don't legally have to, apparently. So,
Yeah.
I mean, people are starting to call out the lies and find out that they've been bamboozled, and starting to do that. But you got to do it in a way that's righteous. You got to do it in a way that's right. You got to do it in a way that you can thrive in the future. Otherwise,
Yeah.
anger,
And we gotta do it in
anger,
the collective.
throwing fuel on the fires, that never works out.
And you gotta do it in as a collective. Don't do what y'all did during the pandemic, where y'all
Yeah.
left the unvaccinated out to dry. Oh, master, I'm gonna take that shot because I need a job. I don't want to take the shot. I know it's gonna kill me. I know I'm gonna have heart issues and whatnot. But master, I need that bread. I need to put bread on the table. Okay, that's what they did.
Ah, Will.
And they left
Unfortunately,
people like me and Shaw
unfortunately.
out to dry, out to figure it out. Kyrie
Yeah,
Irving, figure it out.
do it
Okay.
for Pam. Pam has a compromised immune system. Do it for Pam. I don't know.
Yeah.
Pam, I hope you are well. I'm gonna pray for you,
Yeah.
but I ain't coming over your house. Like
Exactly.
what?
And that's just what it is.
They messed up. They messed with us for too long. But we come in, everybody's waking up, and as people wake up, they're gonna shut the social media down. So be
Oh yeah.
prepared for that. But in
And
the
maybe that might be the
meanwhile,
best. Maybe that might be for the best. I mean, when you consider the bad, maybe the bad may outweigh the good. Maybe it's for the best that this whole thing is shut down. Right?
100%. 100%. Because people can then focus on stop being distracted by this, so many outside thoughts. Because again, we may have a fantastic show going on, which in my opinion, I think we do. But that doesn't mean that you need to sit around and listen to us all day or listen to the next YouTuber all day or the next this and all that. Get quiet. Sit with
Yeah.
your own thoughts, sit with the creator of everything, and find out what you're meant to do on this
And I
earth.
think people
Find
will probably read more in that
and read
scenario.
more.
Yeah.
Yes. I agree. I think that this could be the glass half full, Lil, is to shut it down for a bit.
Definitely. I mean, it's all about perspective. You know, I felt like when they shut everything down outside during the scandemic, right? I'm gonna call it scamdemic, okay? Because it was a scam, right? When they shut everything down, that scamdemic, okay, that was one of my most that was one of my most creative moments. I mean, literally, my most creative years of my life was during
Me
those
too.
times.
It was
You
the
know,
best time. It was like the greatest times to be alive.
the Can You Dig
Honestly,
Sports Radio Network was created during that time.
that's
You
right.
know,
One
so
of the
yeah,
greatest,
food for
one of the
thought.
greatest radio stations that
Yep.
never took the ground quite yet, as of yet. But
As of
we
yet,
do know
but
that's going to change.
the foundation.
But I'll be honest, though, Lil, and I want to say before we head off, these are some of the times that I do enjoy is getting on, talking with my friends, and just sharing thoughts that don't mean nothing but other than whatever people take from it. But this is like the joy is to talk to your friends and to really kind of get together and really come up with things that are positive, come up with constructive criticism, come up with dialogue. These are fun. Other than that, man, don't let this world beat you up, guys.
Facts. Fight back. Okay.
Right.
Don't let it capture you like Maduro. Okay. You capture it.
Leo,
And
your,
that's
co-
just
your
what it is.
comedic chops are growing. I like it.
No,
You're funny,
definitely.
funny
And look,
guy.
facts. And ladies and gentlemen, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. The Can You Dig Sports Radio Network. We are live 10 p.m. Eastern Time to 12 a.m. Eastern Time, weekdays on the Can You Dig Sports Radio Network. And if you missed the show, we are on Spotify, The Real Lil Show, and YouTube, The Real Lil Show. And guess what? It's time to go. I'm about to hit the sack because guess what? I'm coming back. And that's just what it is. We out. Peace.
Later.
Remember rhythms. Other dancers.